Hello, everyone. Today, we're going to talk about things we often overpay for without even thinking about it. These are not always obvious scams where someone steals your wallet, but in many cases, companies make money from our habits, our lack of attention, or simply our desire to avoid extra trouble. Sometimes we are not paying for real quality. We are paying for nice packaging, convenience, fear, or hope. So get comfortable because today we have a top 10 list of the biggest ripoffs and overpayments that almost everyone runs into. Number 10, bottled water. Let's start with regular bottled water. Advertising often shows us water that looks like it comes straight from pure mountain springs, passes through natural filters, and ends up in a beautiful bottle. Sounds nice, right? But the reality is much simpler. Very often, bottled water is just regular tap water that has been filtered and packaged nicely. And the most interesting part is that this same water at home costs almost nothing. But in a store, we pay dozens and sometimes even hundreds of times more. Of course, a bottle of water is convenient when you are traveling, at the gym, or outside on a hot day. But if you buy it every single day, the cost adds up quickly. It is much cheaper to buy a good, reusable bottle and refill it at home. Number 9. Extended warranties on electronics. When you buy a phone, TV, laptop, or headphones, the salesperson almost always offers you an extended warranty. And it sounds very convincing. What if it breaks? What if the repair is expensive? The buyer starts to worry and agrees. But the problem is that in many cases, the warranty costs almost as much as the possible repair itself. In other words, you are paying in advance for a problem that may never happen. And sometimes the warranty has so many conditions written in tiny text that when you actually need it, you find out that your specific case is not covered. So before buying an extended warranty, it is always worth stopping for a moment and asking yourself, do I really need this? Number 8, razor blades. This is where the markup can be absolutely huge. The razor handle itself is often sold at a reasonable price, but then comes the real business, replacement blades. They are small, they run out quickly, and they can cost so much that it feels like they are made of rare, precious metal. Companies understand perfectly well that once a person buys a razor, they will have to keep buying matching blades again and again. This is a classic strategy. The main product is affordable, but the refills are expensive. As a result, over the course of a year, shaving can cost much more than you might expect. Number 7, printer ink cartridges. If you have ever owned a printer, you know this pain very well. The printer itself may seem reasonably priced, and sometimes even suspiciously cheap, but then the ink runs out, and you see the price of a new cartridge. At that moment, you start wondering, would it be cheaper to just buy a new printer? And that is not even a joke. In some cases, a full set of new cartridges really can cost almost as much as a new printer. Manufacturers often make more money from the ink than from the device itself. It is especially annoying when the printer says the cartridge is empty, even though it feels like it should still be able to print more pages. So a printer is not always a one-time purchase. Very often, it is more like a subscription to expensive supplies. Number 6, hotel minibars. A hotel minibar is a trap for a tired traveler. You arrive after a long trip, you do not want to go anywhere. You open the small fridge, and there it is. A tiny bottle of water, a chocolate bar, chips, and soda. Everything looks convenient, but the prices can be so high that it feels like those chips were delivered by helicopter. Hotels understand guest psychology very well. After a flight or a long drive, people are tired. They do not want to look for a store, and they are willing to pay more just for convenience. As a result, a small drink can cost as much as a full meal somewhere outside the hotel. The simple advice is this: before checking in, buy water and snacks at a regular store. Number 5. Brand name painkillers. Many people believe that a famous brand of medicine works better than a cheaper alternative. The package looks nice, the commercial is familiar, and the name is well known. So it must be more effective, right? But with many painkillers, the truth is much simpler. If the active ingredient is the same, for example, ibuprofen, the effect can be exactly the same too. A brand name medicine and a generic version may have the same formula, but the price can be several times different. You're not paying for a magic formula. You're paying for the brand, the advertising, and the nice looking box. Of course, medicine should always be chosen carefully, but overpaying only for a famous name is not always the smartest idea. Number 4. Premium gas. Many drivers think that if gasoline is more expensive, it must be better for the car. It sounds logical. You fill up with premium fuel, the engine becomes happier, the car drives better, and everything gets cleaned from the inside. But in reality, it does not work that way. Premium gas is mainly needed for certain powerful engines that require a higher octane rating. If your car is designed to run on regular gas, the more expensive option will not magically turn it into a sports car. You will simply pay more without getting much real benefit. The best advice is to check your car manufacturer's recommendation. If it does not say that premium gas is required, then you probably do not need it. Number 3. Gym memberships. A gym is a great thing by itself. The problem starts when people buy a 1-year membership, go for 2 weeks, and then disappear. And gyms know this very well. Their business model often depends on selling as many memberships as possible to people who will not actually show up regularly. Cancellation can also be complicated. You may need to come in person, fill out paperwork, give advance notice, pay a fee, or go through an entire quest just to stop the payments. In the end, a person no longer goes to the gym, but the money keeps getting charged. So before buying a yearly membership, it is better to ask yourself honestly, will I really go? Maybe it is smarter to start with 1 month and see how it goes. Number 2. Movie theater popcorn. Movie theater popcorn is a legendary overpayment. Popcorn itself is cheap, but in a cinema, it suddenly becomes almost a luxury product. A small portion, a large portion, a drink combo, and suddenly you have paid almost as much as the movie ticket itself. Why does this happen? Movie theaters do not make all their money from tickets. A large part of ticket revenue often goes to studios and distributors, so theaters make up for it with food and drinks. For the viewer, it looks like extremely expensive corn, but for the theater, it is an important part of the business. Of course, popcorn helps create the movie atmosphere, but let's be honest, the price is often crazy. Number 1. Lottery tickets. And in first place, we have lottery tickets. This is probably one of the cleverest hope scams out there. A ticket is cheap, the dream is worth millions, and a person thinks, what if it's me? And that is exactly how the whole thing works. The chance of winning a huge jackpot is usually so small that it is hard to even imagine. But advertising shows happy winners, giant checks, smiles, and a brand new life. What it does not show are the millions of people who buy tickets for years and get nothing. The lottery does not really sell a ticket. It sells a dream. And if you treat it like occasional entertainment, that is one thing. But if someone starts spending money regularly in the hope of getting rich, it can become a real problem. So that was our top 10. Many of these things are not scams in the direct sense. You can buy them, use them, and sometimes they really are convenient. But it is important to understand where we are paying for real value, and where we are paying for habit, fear, nice packaging, or hope. So the next time someone offers you an extended warranty, an overpriced minibar snack, brand name painkillers, or a lucky lottery ticket, just stop for a second and ask yourself, do I really need this? If you found this video useful, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and write in the comments what you have overpaid for the most. See you in the next video.